Hi everybody, I hope you're all blessed and well in the Lord. I'm so sorry about that. Let me get situated for a second, please. Okay. Alright, gonna start off with a few prayer requests. There's a lot of people who need prayer. Just wanted to name a few people. My mom, please pray for her. I already prayed for her, but I believe she needs to be showered with prayers and blessings right now. And also, I know Kim Mosley and also Amanda Christian have also recently said they were going through some things. So please pray for them also. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. You can leave me a comment and I will definitely pray for you also. Okay, and I'm gonna read some scripture. I, even I, am he that blotted out their transgressions. Isaiah 43:25. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out, and find pasture. John 10:9. You know what? I'll usually jump to the next scripture, but that was pretty crazy. I just randomly picked this out about Jesus being the door. And I literally was going to talk about the dream I had about a door, because I had got confirmation for it. This is crazy. Okay, praise Jesus. Wow, I feel the Holy Spirit already. Okay, hallelujah. Okay, alright, sorry. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned. Isaiah 43:2. Amen. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Revelation 2:10. Thank you, Jesus. Random scriptures, y'all. This is from the Lord Himself. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Let's see if anybody is here yet. I see two. Hi, good morning. Okay. Let's get to... You know what? I'll start with the door dream, since that was the scripture that got brought up right away. Most recent. This one. Let's see. Okay, this is the dream that I had, and this was November 17th, 2018, and I was talking about the door, okay, that I saw in my dream. Hi everybody, share an open vision that I had just this afternoon as I was taking a nap. I was drifting off into sleep, and I saw a grand door. It wasn't a regular door, it was more like a castle door, and I kind of found a picture to show you.
So this is the closest picture I could find to the door I saw. It's really big and like chrome colored, silver chrome. And I was looking at different pictures. I also figured it could be a gate, a door or a gate. But all I know it was really big and silver in color, and it had that detail in it. They were like little crosses or X's all over the door, like those little imprints that stand out there in detail. So yeah, that's what I saw. So in the Bible, there are many scriptures where Jesus.
Okay, so this was November 17th, literally a year ago, and I got confirmation a year later. I'm gonna show you the confirmation. Could have sworn I sent it to myself. It was a woman that shared her dream. I don't see video I sent myself, but the woman was basically, she was talking about the door, and she described it exactly how I have described it, and she was talking about how Jesus is about to shut the door, and I really wanted to show it to you. Well, that's a bummer. I'm not sure where the dream went. Okay, well, I'm probably just gonna go to the next confirmation until I find that one. Okay, my mom had a dream a while back. I'm gonna show you that one to you in a second. But basically, I believe her dream was showing this going to happen, and obviously in the future will lead to the actual mark of the beast. But for now, they're already talking about going cashless. And she also, in the dream, had mentioned New York, and this is in New York. LIRR's Long Island Railroad. Sorry, it's loading. Trying to get this video to play. Yeah, it says Long Island Railroad riders soon won't be able to use cash for onboard purchases. The MTA announced that a pilot program will begin in March that will prohibit cash transactions on board trains. That means conductors would only be able to sell tickets via credit card transactions. Ticket vending kiosks and ticket windows will still accept cash. The MTA says it will evaluate the pilot program's impact afterward. MTA is also looking at closing 7 ticket offices as a cost-cutting measure. Those offices are Patch, oh god, I'm probably pronouncing that so wrong. Port Jefferson, Wantagh, Lynbrook, Amityville, Massapequa, and Flushing. Some writers say they do not like using the ticket machines or smartphone apps and say they are not happy with the decision. MTA Chairman and CEO Patrick Foy said cash on LIRR trains has declined 40% in the last 2 to 3 years. We expect that the decline will continue. So like I said, as time goes along, they're going to eventually implement the cashless society. And I don't know why this video is not playing, but sorry about that. But basically the video just shows what they're talking about in this article. This is another dream confirmation. This is from Brother Chad and a few other YouTubers. Oh, now it's playing. There we go. We got more right next door at Resorts World Casino in New York City. Come play, dine, and unwind.
Well, cash may no longer be king on the LIRR. News 12's Andrew Anger has the details.
When Judith Kong takes the LIRR, she always buys her ticket on board the train with cash, since seniors don't pay the convenience fee. She says she doesn't like using the ticket machines or a smartphone.
Not everybody is computer savvy, and I'm older, so that gives me a little challenge.
But in March, as part of a pilot program, the LIRR will not allow conductors to take cash for onboard ticket purchases, only credit cards.
Cash on Long Island Railroad trains has declined 40% in the last 2 to 3 years. We expect that decline to continue.
Riders will still be able to use cash at ticket machine kiosks or at the ticket windows, just not on board the train. The savings, about $1.1 million. But the union that represents conductors says this is a hidden service cut for riders.
Leave the convenience of the cash and let's move forward. Let them have that convenience.
The MTA says it also wants to close ticket booths at 7 stations, including Patchogue, Port Jefferson, Wantagh, Lynbrook, Amityville, Massapequa, and Flushing to save money. Danielle Calderon says that's a mistake. She likes a person to speak with at the station.
You need to know where you're going or how to get there. It's nice to have a person to ask.
But some riders wonder if they have to rely on the kiosks to use cash. Will they actually work? This one right here says only limited service.
Oh yeah, they freeze all the time. All the time.
But Joe Eno from Massapequa says the no cash on board program is fine with him.
I think that's a better thing than having all the cash around, but also I see them moving more towards electronic stuff.
So it wouldn't bother you at all? In Wantagh, Andrew Anger, News 12 Long Island.
The MTA says it will evaluate the...
Okay, and then I'm glad I didn't jump to this because I forgot I have to show you my mom's dream, which is God showed her that this was coming here. Here it is right here. This was November 2. So this was November last year. Again.
blessed and well now, Lord. I wanted to share with you a vision that my mom had shared with me on November 1st, 2018. So in this vision, she was with her husband and they were in New York City. And she said they were walking and they ended up in a building. Her husband went another way and she went towards the elevator. And she said on the elevator there was a man and he had a long black trench coat on and he had black hair. And she said they went to press the lobby button, but for some reason there wasn't. Instead, there were two ones just like this. But I ended up finding out they actually do this in other countries, in like India and China. So they tried to get to the lobby, but they couldn't. So the man's like looking like, why can't we get to the lobby? And so they ended up on the second floor. So she said on the second floor there were a bunch of people and they were all scanning their hands to get onto the elevator. This is the best picture I could find. She described it as an octagon-shaped scanner. So after she saw the people scanning their hands, she was looking at herself inside of like a reflective type of wall. And she said she was looking at her hat and checking if her hat was okay. And this is the actual hat she was wearing. This is the video she had recorded when she was telling me about the dream. And she said it was this exact hat that she has at home. Then she ended up back outside. She saw her husband coming in the car. He was calling her because he had to come pick her up. And then she said, next thing you know, she looked up in the sky and she saw a red, white, and blue helicopter. She said, but the helicopter was starting to crash. She said it clipped the building and exploded. She saw smoke rising from the helicopter. And then she said there were people running away from the smoke. So they started running, and that was pretty much the end of the vision. So the helicopter exploded, and again, she just saw people running in danger. And so yeah, right here, just showing how the RFID entry system is coming. And it's already in Sweden and other countries and slowly coming into the US, starting with New York, apparently. Not surprised by New York, California, Florida, all the coastal cities. Let me see if anyone's commented so far. Ow. Okay. We have, hi, good morning, 73 Marvin. Good morning, Matthew H. Good morning, Deb. God bless you too. Thank you. Okay, sorry my big hair got all up in the screen there. Okay, to this next, where is it? Okay. Okay, here we go. Back to Brother Chad. His video, let me close this so it doesn't slow it down. I think it's Chad Crawford. I'm right.
So yeah, he's showing rainbows in the clouds. I've also witnessed this. Many other YouTubers have also witnessed this. And I had posted a dream about these rainbow clouds. About a year ago too. Okay, and then I believe I sent the dream to myself. But it was a rapture dream. It was a rapture dream that I posted, and the clouds literally looked just like that. And I was saying how there were like colors mixed all together, and then I saw everyone flying into the sky, into the colors, and then I was running behind everyone like, hey, wait for me, I want to go too, and we were all flying. Like, it was so amazing. So that was another confirmation. I guess I didn't send it to myself. I thought I did. It's alright though. I'll just link the video if you want to watch it. It was a prior, like I said, a rapture dream that I shared, and I believe that was confirmation. Okay, and then here's again the Cashless Society. This is from Japan today. Japan wants to go cashless, but elderly aren't so keen. Cash is king in Japan, and more so for the country's fast-aging population, who are still deeply reluctant to give it up. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's push to make more Japanese, the world's most dedicated cash hoarders, switch to using cashless payments is producing some success, but not nearly as much as desired. A growing rank of the nation's elderly pensioners are resisting change, which could see Japan fall further behind its peers in adopting mobile app payments and electronic money. Tokyo wants to double the ratio of cashless settlements to 40% by 2025 and to 80% eventually to spur labor productivity. Japan pales in comparison with other countries. 96% of transactions in South Korea and 66% in China are cashless. Data by an industry lobby payment Japan Association shows. The transition to digital transactions will help Japan cope with the shrinking population and a tight labor market. Cashless payments will also allow stores to automatic sales estimates and banks to cut back on costly automated teller machine networks. So this is how it begins. They're going to condition people to believe this is a good thing and this must happen. And so they're going to push it and push it and push it. Okay. Let's go to the next. And for people who aren't aware of why a cashless society is coming about, this is obviously for the new babies, Christians, the people just exploring my channel. This is your first time watching. The RFID chip is a microchip, and they're trying to implement it in the US. Well, they already are implementing it in Wisconsin. There's a company called what's it, Biohacks. No, Free Square Market. Thank you, Jesus. Free Square Market in Wisconsin is already microchipping their employees, so this is why it's important to talk about it, because it's in the Bible that this was going to happen, and if you get a microchip inside of your hand, it's an abomination. You just can't do it, and you will go to hell, and it's in the Bible. You can't take the mark of the beast. Don't take it, or let them take your life. It's because it's not worth going to hell for. Okay. Okay, this one is really hard to show things like this, but I have to, because it's the signs of the times, and it just shows the agendas that are being pushed, just the weirdness that's going on. This was from Brother Savron Hips.
Hey, Dad. I think I got my period.
Let me help you.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry.
Do you have a tampon? Yeah. Thanks. Just let it grow up. Come here.
Alright, I'm gonna stop it there, because this is absolutely disgusting. This is an actual commercial. and oh, it's just disgusting. And then they wanna censor YouTube now. But I mean, look at the stuff they show on national television. Like, I'm so glad I don't have cable. I don't watch TV anymore, because I would literally throw up if I saw something like this, and I couldn't even finish. I'm sorry, but it's just this just shows the world we live in. It's horrible, and just should not be okay or funny at all. It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. The agenda they're pushing. Yeah, they want to fine everyone on YouTube. They should be fined. They should be getting fined for commercials like that, and just okay, sorry, Musa. Okay. I'm gonna be talking about Kanye West in a separate video, so I'm not gonna show these. Cause I have a whole book. I'm gonna be not a book, but I have a lot of things to say about Kanye West, but I'm not gonna get to that right now. Okay, this is just end time news. Oh, Hollywood on fire. Finally, I knew this was gonna happen.
In California, there is smoke rising over the mansions and movie studios of Hollywood from a fresh wildfire. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez is on that story for us.
Overnight, firefighters battling a new wildfire in Los Angeles.
It was crazy, and it just looked like it enveloped the entire side of the mountain.
The Barham fire burning more than 30 acres in the heart of Hollywood. Flames raging just across the street from the Warner Brothers studio lot. Some production companies and film crews evacuating. The fire spreading into Griffith Park. Plumes of smoke visible for miles, towering over the iconic Hollywood sign and downtown Los Angeles.
And looked frightening, like a real inferno.
Hotspots flaring up as crews battled the flames on the ground and from the air through the night. This as California recovers from several destructive wildfires last month. The Tick and Getty fires forcing mass evacuations in the Los Angeles area, and the Kincaid fire in Sonoma County charring nearly 80,000 acres, only fully contained days ago. But unlike with those fires, wind is fortunately not a factor this morning, so fire crews expect to make significant progress containing this fire today. Eva?
All right, Marcy Gonzalez for us.
Hi, everyone.
So yeah, like I said, I'm not surprised. Hollywood is lucky God hasn't set the whole entire state of California. I think most of it is, and not that I'm happy this is happening, but it's not surprising because I'm sorry, when the stench of the sin is reaching the heavens, God is already beginning to pour out His wrath, and it's very clear. And I believe we're seeing the beginning of the Great Tribulation. Many may argue with me, that's fine, but I've been watching for a long time. I've been doing a lot of research and definitely just knowing the times that we're in, and that's, I believe we're in the Great Tribulation. Many people are still asleep, they don't see it, but it's here. It's already here, I believe, and I believe that's what the Lord has been showing me through my dreams too. And yeah, so we're gonna continue. This is again with the cryptocurrency.
This year, the world is facing political turmoil. Protests have become the new norm.
Cryptocurrency again is another step to the cashless society. It requires all just networking. It's no cash involved. I should have just let it go. Okay,
But what does this mean for the economy in terms of cryptocurrencies? Amid global turmoil, cryptocurrency usage has spiked in some of these countries. Bitcoin volumes increased in Hong Kong, for example, where the island is reaching almost 6 months of political unrest. This was after the much disputed bill that would allow citizens to be extradited to China. And just last month, trading sites like Local Bitcoins reportedly saw its third largest weekly Bitcoin volume ever. The platform recorded a $1.42 million worth of transaction volume. Meanwhile, yellow vests in Paris are nearing a continuous year of protests. These were caused by rising fuel prices. Ecuador and Chile also followed suit when protesters in the two countries took to the streets to call out the increasing inequality. Now, weeks ago, a state of emergency was declared in Chile. ATMs were on lockdown, leaving many banking users without access to withdraw their funds. The demand for Bitcoin in Chile has skyrocketed this year as a result of these ongoing tensions. Now, unrest in Argentina sparked when...
Okay, you heard what she just said. Bitcoin. And I told you all how the Lord gave me a vision of a Bitcoin on a cape, like it was flying. So it's going to continue to become more in demand.
And its currency collapsed earlier this year by 30.3%. Civil unrest in Lebanon also sparked crypto enthusiasts, as the conflict led all banks in the country to shut down. The Lebanese are facing this huge crisis right now, given that over 65% of them rely on banks. Massive protests in Venezuela took place earlier this year, where tens of thousands took to the streets in dueling protests in support and opposition of the standing government under President Nicolas Maduro. Venezuelans have turned to rely heavily on Bitcoin, some using it to pay for medical costs or even food, beating gold in the hyperinflated economy. And several reports revealed Venezuela's central bank is allegedly looking to stockpile a variety of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin within its internal reserves. State-operated gas company Petróleos de Venezuela, or PDVSA, has asked to send Bitcoin and Ethereum payments to Banco Central de Venezuela's, or BCV vaults, to pay for oil and gas operations. With U.S. sanctions on some of these countries like Venezuela, Iraq, and Iran, Tehran is allowing for Bitcoin mining, but with some regulations. Head of the Economic Commission of the Iranian Parliament, Elias Hasrati, said, "We do believe that the cryptocurrency industry should be recognized as an official industry in Iran to let the country take advantage of its tax and custom revenues."
And for more on crypto and its stance around the world, we bring in Boom Bust host Christie, who's joining us from Los Angeles, and editorial director of the American Institute for Economic Research, Jeffrey Tucker in New York. Welcome, both of you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good to be here.
Now, Jeffrey, looking at all of these global protests, is this the new norm when countries who are facing political unrest will turn to cryptocurrency?
We have to remember that crypto was born in exactly this kind of unrest. It was 2008 when the white paper was released, 2009, January 2009 when Bitcoin was released to the world. There was a lot of incredulity at the time, but some smart people got in on it, and 5 years later it started looking pretty awesome. Now here it is 11 years later, yes, it is now a safe haven for the world, and you need that. We've needed it for 100 years, ever since the governments around the world took over the banking system and put in question whether or not we really own our deposits. We need some independent store of wealth.
It's not a
I think
question.
Bitcoin is becoming that. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies also. You mentioned Venezuela. There are many, many different cryptocurrencies that are being used there. There are now thousands of them, and they're all fungible one with each other. It's a wonderful technology, and I personally believe that something like a private cryptocurrency on a global basis is going to be the future of media.
So yeah, you get it. They're gonna keep promoting this. It's good. It's gonna just make the whole world go round. Oh, yeah, just step to the mark of the beast. That's what that is. Okay, let me see. Ow. I keep hitting. Hi, Andrea. This is here. Okay. Auntie Deb. Deb's still with us. Hi, Deb. Okay. Just checking messages. I'm gonna actually read them afterward, because it's hard to look at my phone the way I have it mounted and still work the live stream here. Trying to work with what I have. Okay. Meteors. Before I show this, I just want to mention I'm gonna be posting a dream I had yesterday. I had 2 dreams recently that I need help with a little bit, but it's related to meteors. And okay, I'm gonna play this. There was recently a meteor caught on a transit system in Milwaukee, which is my hometown. And I personally have seen a meteor before. I obviously didn't catch it on video, but here's the picture, and the meteor falling from the sky. And I believe the reason we're seeing so many meteors and stuff is because the Bible talks about the stars falling from the sky. So yeah, that was on. It was recent. I think it was this week. What is the date here? Oh. Okay, here we go. November 12th. And it was reported at 3:21 p.m. It was posted the 12th, but the meteor happened on 11/11. November 11th. I'm sorry. So yeah, it was, the meteor was on 11/11. That's pretty interesting. Oops, I don't know what this is here. Okay, I'm just gonna get to the next thing. This is another article posted on 11/11. And this was posted by the New York Post. And it says, inside the alleged cult that has been quietly operating in New York for decades. Let me see. Oh, they're all like lined up. They do that. Okay, says members of Sharon Gann's so-called Theater of All Possibilities has come forward to claim they were pressured into arranged marriages, beaten if they didn't sell tickets, and had gone broke, paying for classes, while Gans and her husband lived in Tony home in the posh neighborhood of Pacific Heights, with the police asking questions and the ex-members' claims splashed across the pages of local papers. Actress and her theater group closed up shop and seemingly disappointed from the public view, but they never really went away. A new group sprang up in the 1980s in New York under the name Odyssey Study Group and has been operating here quietly ever since, still led by the washed-up actress, now 84, who reigns from $8.5 million apartment at Manhattan's Plaza Hotel that was mostly paid by devotees. According to the records, a dozen former members have spoken to the Post, telling stories similar to those who shared more than decades ago, including claims they forked over huge sums to Odyssey while being emotionally abused and exploited. And this is what they do to the celebrities too. Most people think, oh, they got all this money, they must have the greatest life ever. No, those people are miserable. They're slaves to Satan because they sold their souls, and then they have to go through all this because they do it for the love of the money, and it's really sick if you really go deep into it. That's why this is labeled not for kids. Shouldn't be no kids in here. But yeah, speaking of that, I unfortunately had to unlist and mark private a lot of my videos that either have my kids in it or anything child related because of the new YouTube regulations. I am making my channel just for adults because I mostly do make videos that should attract adults, so I'm probably gonna share the children's dreams separate, their prophecies, and I'm just waiting to see what happens and if they would actually try to delete any accounts or videos or anything. I'm hoping not. And please comment and let me know. I know some people are going to GodTube, and if there's any other suggestions you have to share amongst each other, please suggest it. I'm still deciding what I'm gonna do because, like I said, I'm not sure how severe all these new rules and regulations are going to be, but I know so far they have been disabling a lot of comments on my videos, and it really sucks because even some of my videos that aren't targeted for kids do have a lot of color. I do a lot of art. You know, I show my visions through art and colorful pictures sometimes, and I'm just hoping this doesn't affect me because they're pretty broad with the descriptions as far as what videos they're making, and yeah, so I'm gonna continue on. Hong Kong protests, rule of law on brink of collapse, police say. This was November 12th. Hong Kong's rule of law has been pushed to the brink of total collapse after more than 5 months of protests. Police have warned. The warning came as protesters clashed with police across the city on Tuesday at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Police fired tear gas and rubber bullets. Protesters who built barricades on the campus early in the day. Around 1,000 protesters rallied in central Hong Kong during the lunch hour, blocking roads. Protesters.
What I love most about being a scientist at 3M is that I'm part of a community.
They were chanting "Fight for freedom" and "Stand with Hong Kong."
Why we are doing this? Because yesterday, they used real bullets, shoot right in the chest, and that can kill someone. So if they upgrade their weapons, we need to upgrade our weapon to protect ourselves too. It definitely will scare them off. As long as they attack us, I'm willing to fight it. I think it symbolizes our spirit of not surrendering. This is defending because the police, they invade with reasons like we blocking them to study or work, and we have to stand up to defend ourselves.
So these are the signs of the perilous times we are in. Jesus said we would have to see these things before his coming. We have Dean Foods here, along with many other companies. Michael's recently too. Filing for bankruptcy, closing down, Toys R Us, a lot of store closings. Dean Foods announced that it has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The Dallas-based milk processor said it is engaged in advanced discussions with the Daily Farmers of America about a potential sale. Dean Foods' business has struggled as more consumers turn to non-dairy milk or buy private label products. Dean Foods on Tuesday announced that it has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. And if you want to read the rest, I'll post the article. This is an example of the weather changes. They call it climate change, but we obviously know these are the signs of the times. I had a vision of the seasons changing, and there's going to be rain mixed with snow. And I told you guys that I believe that was the Lord showing me how the seasons are going to be all mixed up. covering the trees too, the signs in the trees.
January 2017.
If you look at the Milwaukee River tonight, you'll see chunks of ice, a rare sight this early in the season. News Caroline Reinwald is live near Swiss Park, and Caroline, that's one area where it's completely iced over.
It is, and what a rare sight to see, like you said, Derek. Normally we're seeing this type of phenomenon in December or early January, but here we are, early November, and you can see here behind me, for the most part, the river here is completely iced over, covered in snow. The only part that isn't is way over there underneath the bridge. Now, this is an incredibly rare event. The Milwaukee River never ices over this early in November. If it has, it was maybe once or twice in the last 150 years, and there are parts of the river that are only chunks of ice floating, but from where we're standing and where we saw people walking tonight, it was completely covered in ice and snow. And I talked to folks who seem to enjoy the early cold and snowy weather that we've been having. Have you ever seen it this ice over this early on in November?
No, actually.
Is that why you're out exploring tonight?
Well, it looked very beautiful, and so we decided to walk along the river.
Oh, we wanted to get in our steps, which we did. And I grew up here, so it's nice to see snow.
But I don't have to be out in it. I'm not working, so that makes a big difference.
They're clueless. Some people are just like, oh, it's wonderful. It's fine. Nothing's wrong. It's okay for the weather to be abnormal because they're asleep. They have no idea the times that we are in. Probably no clue at all. Okay. I wanted to show you all how there was homeless people living under this bridge, and I'm just wondering what they're doing with all the homeless, because there's only, you said, 6 camps left when there were many before, and they said they evicted these people. I don't know how you evict a homeless person, but they suddenly wanted to do a project where these people were living. It's just really sad. And I just wonder what they're doing with these homeless, because I remember having dreams of people being contained in places where they cannot leave, and it's just a lot of strange things happening with the homeless lately. Like, they're being targeted like they're criminals a lot of times, and it's really sad. And might look into this deeper, but I'm gonna get to the next news story. Another locust invasion. This was in Pakistan, and this was on November 12th.
We work really hard or we're kind of intense.
We sweat, we bust our butt, and if I didn't enjoy what I was doing, I wouldn't be here.
The benefits.
I just saw a few more people people joined in. Just want to say hello. Hold on. Okay, let's see. I see your messages. Oh, there they are. Oh, hi. Okay. We have Daughter of the Most High God. Hi, sister. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. If you can hear me better, let me know. I'm sorry you couldn't hear me well. I was trying out this headset, but apparently it's not working well. Salvation to every nation. Hi, sister. Oh, I love you so much. I love you all. Threatened to hit the USS. No signal. You couldn't hear? Oh no. JC's girl. Hi, good morning. I'm sorry you guys couldn't hear me. I'm so sad now. I'm wondering how the playback is gonna be. Hoping I don't have to redo this, but I'm gonna go back and check the sound. I hope it wasn't too bad. But I'm gonna leave the headset off now. I'm really sorry about that. I'll just try to speak loudly. Okay, I don't think I have much more. Let me see. Let's see how much.
They are replacing international law with the law of the jungle. In January 2017, the United Nations Security Council passed a resolution declaring all of Judea and Samaria occupied territory. On the CBN News Channel program Faith Nation, State Department spokesperson Morgan Ortagus says the U.S. is responding to the UN's bias against Israel.
Anytime you leave it up to international bodies or leave it to the world to decide the legal fate of Israel, they continually try and isolate and discriminate against Israel, and we here in the United States will not stand for that policy.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
Thank you, Gary. In Washington, D.C., Democrats continue with their impeachment case against the president again today. Taking their stand are two witnesses who listened to President Trump's call with Ukraine. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Wyndham said he heard U.S. Ambassador Gordon Sondland describe specific investigations as a requirement for Ukraine's president to get a coveted White House visit.
Chairman, the culture I come from, the military culture, when a senior asks you to do something, even if it's polite and pleasant, it's not to be taken as a request. It's to be taken as an order. In this case, the power disparity between the two leaders, my impression is that in order to get the White House meeting, President Zelensky would have to deliver these investigations.
President Trump has denied any wrongdoing and says he is strongly considering testifying in the impeachment probe after an informal offer from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. We will have, as always, more on this story and others this evening on Faith Nation. You can watch it right here on the CBN News channel. Overseas for a moment here, at least 100 protesters in Hong Kong are still barricaded in one of the city's main universities. Hong Kong police say they have not yet decided their next steps to end a standoff at Polytechnic University, but are still hoping for a peaceful resolution. Drone footage, you see it right there, overlooking one area of campus, showed colorful paper arranged to read SOS in an appeal for help by the anti-government protesters. Around 600 protesters were allowed to return home already after being questioned and having their photos taken. New York Senator Charles Schumer today asked the Congress to reaffirm its commitment to democracy in Hong Kong and not to wait for President Trump to address the situation directly.
We in the United States stand in solidarity with the democratic protesters who have every right to assemble and petition their government for the rights as citizens of Hong Kong. The administration and the president himself should voice their support for the protesters in Hong Kong, which would send an important message to the Chinese Communist Party not to get involved or in any way escalate the situation.
U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said yesterday that the Hong Kong government bears the prime responsibility for restoring order. From Hong Kong, we go south to where Catholics in Thailand are preparing for the first papal visit in over 3 decades. Pope Francis will arrive tomorrow for a 4-day trip. Francis will meet with the Thai king, the prime minister, and the Buddhist supreme patriarch. There will also be 2 public masses, both of which will be nationally televised live. Catholics, by the way, make up just 0.58% of the country's 65 million people. More than 93% of the population are Buddhists. One Vatican expert says Francis is drawn to these isolated populations and how they can play a positive role in their societies.
For Thailand and Japan, what is important is that because you don't have political power, political influence, and so on, the only way to make your mission is to witness the newness of your life, your joy and your love.
The last pope, by the way, to visit the country was Pope John Paul II back in 1984. Coming up, we speak to my friend and intrepid reporter Chuck Holton about his new book and how he hopes it shapes young lives. But before we go to the break, take a look at what's trending on CBNnews.com. Prowess, talk.
This video I'm showing because of remember I told you I heard the word racism, and I believe it's getting worse, even though it's always been around, but this is just an example of the racism. And obviously God wants us to love one another and not be racist, so it's pretty messed up.
So Liz Mobile just sent me this solar wireless battery pack. I'm excited. Let's see what's inside. I really like the build.
Yeah, she says that truck was parked in the grass here outside of her apartment complex building. She says when she confronted the employees, they told her it was a lynching display and they refused to take it down. Elisa Sims wasn't expecting to see this outside her apartment window Wednesday morning.
Making sure I got it good.
Video and photos show a figure in rags and chains hanging by a rope around its neck on the side of a truck's trailer. The truck, operated by employees of Barada Properties, the company that owns her complex at 74th and Silver Spring Drive.
I went downstairs and I'm like, can you guys explain to me what's going on with that thing hanging? What is that? He said, don't worry about it. It's a lynching. That's what we do. I said, what?
So the employee told you it was a lynching?
It's a lynching. That's what we do. Exact words.
Sims says when she told them it was offensive and asked them to take it down, they refused.
They were getting offensive, swearing and going back and forth in that apartment and telling us to stay away from their effing truck.
I went to Barada Properties payment office, but security stopped us at the door. There's no manager here at CC? Their attorney later sent me this statement. This abhorrent display was the result of an unauthorized action of an employee. Immediately after the matter was brought to my client's attention, the offensive display was ordered removed and the employee sent home. They also add, while an apology to the community at large is wholly inadequate, at this juncture and on behalf of my client, it's all I can offer.
Well, Caroline, the employee was sent home, but doing.
So yeah, it just shows like the mind state of people and how hateful they are. Like it's really sad. Hi, Jesus is King. Good morning. Okay, I'm glad you can hear me now. Sorry I had those headphones on. Apparently they didn't work too well. I couldn't find my other voice amplifier thing. I don't know. A little disorganized apparently. But I apologize. Okay, let's go to the next video. Or let's see. Oh, I wanted to show this because I had noticed before, it was last year, when it snowed, the snowflakes didn't have patterns, which is unusual because God's snowflakes, every time God makes it snow, every single snowflake he creates is unique. And that's how awesome our God is. If you didn't know that already, no two snowflakes are alike. And if you let a real snowflake fall on you, you will see a pattern. But I had been talking about how the power plants, I call them chemicals that they pump into the sky, can create rain. And they're now admitting here that it can create snow, which is pretty interesting. So I just wanted to show that because I have been saying that before. I just wanted to show people that I'm not crazy and that these chemical clouds can actually produce rain and snow, which is a little concerning because if there's chemicals in it, then that's, that can affect our health. So, okay. So the article shows right here, steam from Wisconsin power plant triggers snowfall. This was posted 5 days ago. Is this a video? Oh no. Is it an article? Maybe I can just pull it up. Oh, here we go. There's the button. Oops, what I did. Oh, okay. Oh no, what is this?
Have you ever power plant affect snow? Well, it's actually a thing. It happens from time to time, and different types of plants, depending on what is being emitted from them, can actually end up creating snow if it's cold enough outside. Now, this most recent example I'm showing you here, it was kind of brought to our attention by the National Weather Service. They noticed it happening. This was a power plant not far from Portage, Wisconsin, okay? And you see this plume. It almost looks like a smoke plume on radar, but this is actually a plume of snow. There was snow that was falling underneath there as a direct result of what was coming out of the power plant. Now, in most cases with power plants, it's just steam that's coming out, sometimes a little dust and debris kind of mixed in there. Each one of those little pieces of dust and debris, when it gets up into a low cloud that's really cold, it can kind of act as a medium for water to start accumulating on. And then when it's cold enough, that water will freeze and it will just fall out of the sky as snow. And that's what happened in that situation.
Okay, and then I want to know if any of you have noticed changes in the trees and how the trees have not been normal. uh this is an example of it in this video, but I noticed that before I even saw this video how the colors of the leaves are off and how they haven't all fell off yet, and this video proves that.
Leaves appearing to be frozen onto trees. So we asked one tree expert why.
Trees do not like sudden change, and we had this extreme cold, and so trees were not able to complete their normal gradual process to shed their leaves. We'll probably see some fall off with like snowfall and maybe really windy days, but I have a feeling that come spring when new growth happens, and it'll be pushing off these old leaves that are clinging on.
Hobby says this affects certain species of trees, including maple. He says the trees will likely not suffer any long-term damage because of it. And Marquis told us he had never seen anything like this.
Okay, and I just want to emphasize, in a lot of these videos, you hear rare, you hear you never see this, you know, they're admitting to you something's not wrong, and then they're gonna push, oh, it's because of climate change, which is a lie. And you know, it's, yeah, the climate's changing, but as I said 100 times before, it's the signs of the times. Jesus is coming, the earth is changing, the earth is groaning, as the Bible describes. It's groaning, it's speaking to the world, yet they still cannot see the truth, the light of the fact that Jesus is coming. And yeah, so you're gonna hear that a lot, you know, biblical proportions. You know, they say it all the time, and a lot of these new cases, they're rare. You don't see this happening every day. It's not normal, right? Okay, oh, this is a petition. They have, I'm gonna link this. If you sign this petition, it's going to help with the new FTC petitions, because a lot of people are fighting for their YouTube rights, because not everyone is out to target children, even though our videos can possibly look like they are for children or targeting children, but they're not. So there's a petition, like I said, I already signed it, and if you want to sign it, I will link this, and you can also sign the petition against their new regulations. This was an article by Express Co. UK. Oh boy, breaking news here. London Bridge emergency. Crowds evacuated as police rushed to the scene. Gunshots heard. Oh man, it's just things happening by the day. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to check that out. Okay, this, Yeah, this was posted November 21st. Let's see if that loads. I'm gonna check messages real quick. Okay. JC's girl said, yes, I've noticed the trees are not changing nor shedding their leaves. Wow. I live in Texas, so different weather. Haven't noticed anything over here with the trees. Have you noticed also no bugs with lots of cell towers? Oh yeah, the cell towers are popping up. I was traveling to my family's yesterday and I saw a ton of those huge towers. They're covered in those horrible I believe it's the 5G towers because I've never seen them before. So I'm guessing that's what I should have got some video, but yeah. I don't think this video is gonna play, so I'm gonna link this one if you want to check it out. It's just an interesting story about Noah's Ark and the evidence of how it actually existed, and it's not just a fairy tale, as most people think. It's not a story, it's real. So I'm just gonna go to the next one. I'm not sure why that's not playing. This computer acts funky sometimes. Okay. Alright. Okay, so this is the last. Why was I sharing this? I watched this yesterday. This is a video I made a while back. There's something I wanted to point.
Everything that God stands for. I have been talking about this for years. I have been warning people.
Oh, okay, that's gonna be for another video. Okay, so yeah, so that's it for this live stream. Like I said, I'm so sorry if you couldn't hear the sound or had any problems. I truly apologize. But like I said, I have a Sky video I'm finishing, and also I have some dreams to share with you that I need help with. I did find scripture to one of the dreams, so it was pretty interesting. I'm gonna be sharing in a different video though, so yeah, thank you all for joining me, and I'm gonna look over the comments one more time, make sure I didn't miss nothing. Okay, yeah, like I said, I'm sorry again about the sound. I'm gonna listen back and see how bad it was. If it's really bad, I'll probably have to just post all the links for you. I'll try not to use that well, I definitely won't use that headset next time because now I know it doesn't work. Okay, so yeah, I love you all. God bless, and stay encouraged. I know it's not easy living in the last days, but yeah, we have to stay strong. Hold on. Especially with all these new laws and policies. I've been so sad. Like, I have to take down all my videos of my precious children and their prophecies, and it's really sad what they're doing. You know, I don't think they should target everyone. I think a lot of YouTube channels should be being looked at as, you know, targeting children, but I mean, there's one thing to target children, and then there's another thing to have a family-friendly channel, and that's not separating, and that's what, you know, it sucks. And then they said something about the commercial viability. I'm not sure about that either. If you know more about that, please let me know. But so far, it's not sounding good either. So I'm praying to God they don't target our channels. But like I said, hopefully we can all find an alternative route too. So, okay, I'm gonna stop babbling. I love you all. God bless. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.